What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, helping you take your game to the next level. And in this video, I'm going to teach you the important adjustments you need to know on defense. Now, if this is your first time viewing one of my videos, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. Make sure that you click the bell icon so that you join the notification squad and never miss an upload. So this has been another video that's been requested about how to adjust on defense, but not necessarily just how to make adjustments, but the right adjustments and the adjustments that matter. Now, this is something you learn from years of experience, from playing a lot of people, from just understanding tendencies and what most Madden players tend to do. So a lot of this I can't, just teach you. You have to learn it on your own, but I can teach you the basics that you need to know to get there. I can lay the groundwork for you, and that's what I'm going to do in this video and show you the basic things that you need to know. If you know these basic things, you'll get more stops on defense by default, and then as you start gradually getting more comfortable with these basic things, you'll start getting a feel for how to adjust yourself on the fly. So for this demonstration, I will come out first off in the 4-6 normal, cover 2 invert. It's one of my favorite defenses. It has been for years. I broke this down earlier this year, the basics of it at least, and I've run it in my gameplays. It's just a very, very tough coverage to pass against. It's only really weak in the deep middle of the field. So for instance, here I am going against gun split close. One of the more popular plays in the game, has been for years, halfback wheel. If I see gun split close, there's a 90% chance I know my opponent's in halfback wheel, and that's another thing that comes with defenses, learning the popular plays and the popular formations. When you see gun split close, you should be thinking halfback wheel every single time. Now, there's other good plays in it, but that's the main play people are going to run. So if I see this formation, I know that deep post is on this play, and this formation is weak at that area of the field. So if I run this and don't make any adjustments, and I'm just, running it stock, I'm getting beat deep, probably for a touchdown. Now, the safety got over there and kind of caught me, but it was wide open, and if I actually waited a little bit longer there, I'm going to get a touchdown. I'll run it one more time. I know it's deep, it's open deep. You can see I rack catch it and I go in for a touchdown. So let's just say you didn't know that and you got beat by that. You're in this defense. This is the defense you like to run, let's just say, and you get beat by that. And then your next time on defense, you see them come back out in this formation. The first thing you should be looking to do is either manually guard this area, so like user it with this safety. If you're not comfortable with that, then you want to drop him deep. And I did that. You can do it by pressing A or X depending on the system. And then it brings up your defensive hot routes, basically. And I can see if I want to put him in the middle third of the field, I click the left stick up. So maybe I still get beat over the middle. Maybe he gets positioned in front of my safety, but I'm not giving up a touchdown at least. Now let's say he's expecting that area of the field to be open. Now he tries to throw it. It's not open. My safety makes a play on it. He drops the pick. Should have been an interception, but that's much better than getting, a big gain or getting a touchdown thrown on you. So those are the type of adjustments you need to be ready to make. So let's say I wanted to user it, right? Let's say I'm going to get back here and user it manually. I'm just going to put him back here as if I was using it. Now the middle of the field is wide open. So let's say I'm playing a good opponent. He sees, okay, I'm back there using it. So he goes over the middle because now the middle's wide open. So now I need to account for the middle of the field. So anytime you're taking something away, I'm taking the middle zone away and putting him deep. You need to do something to account for that middle of the field. So either I can play him deep and then user this guy right here to try to cover it myself, or I can, let's say, drop the defensive tackle back into a spy. Now, he might not play it that good because he's a defensive tackle, but at least he'll be in the vicinity. At least he'll make them think twice, and he might make a play on it. Even if he doesn't make a play on it, though, at least you're trying to account for it. So now they go over the middle of the field. He drops the pick again because he's a D tackle. He's not going to catch a pick too often. But you put your guys in position to succeed. You covered all of your bases there. You knew that he wanted to go to the post, so you took the post away. But then you also made sure to put another defender in that area to guard the vacant area. So those are little things you just need to learn. Now, let's say they're killing us in the flats. We do have flat zones on the field, but they're cloud flats, so they're going to play further back. They're not hard flats. So they can kill us in the flats. They can rack catch this, and right here we got about 9 yards. That's a really good gain, especially on a flat route. So if I know that they're going to keep killing me in the flats, I can either press Y or triangle, and then down on the right stick, that plays underneath coverage. So now you can see it's a hard flat. So maybe they've been killing us in the flats with this. So I've taken away the flats. Let's say I'm going to user the post deep here. We're going to user that post. We're going to drop this guy back to cover the middle of the field. And let's just say, oh, nothing's open. They panic. They just throw to the flats. They're expecting it to be open. Boom. That's a pick six the other way. If you pick a pass off in the flats, you're usually going all the way for a touchdown. So those are the basic adjustments you definitely want to make. You want to probably the biggest adjustment you need to know how to make is when to put hard flats on the field. Now, let's say you didn't want to put both of them in hard flats. Let's say he's not really throwing to the left flat, so you want to leave that cloud flat over there, but you want to put the flat over here. You just want to put this one guy in a hard flat, so you don't want to play underneath coverage. You can click A or X, and then it'll bring up your, again, you'll see your hot routes basically for defense, and I can see the hard flat is the left stick to the left. So now he's in a hard flat, but the other guy on the other side, he's still in his cloud flat. He's still going to play further back. So Eric Berry is going to still, again, play in that hard flat area, and again, that's a pick going the other way for 6. That's one of the main adjustments you need to know. You need to know when to put hard flats on the field because people will abuse you in the flats if you give it to them. So knowing that, hey, I can just, let's just say I wanted to leave both of them in cloud flats, right? Let's say I don't want to take the cloud flats off the field because I'm afraid that they might hit me with that corner route. So I want that cloud flat to be back there to kind of be in that vicinity to guard that. Well, I can take my defensive end over here and put him in a hard flat. I hit A or X, and again, it brings up your hot routes. I'm going to put him in a hard flat now. Now, he might not get out to the flats as quick because he's on the line and he's a defensive end and he has to get off the line a little bit. He might not be, you can see he's not in the best position to play it, but if you have a faster defensive end there, he will get out there quicker. But again, at least you're trying to put somebody in the vicinity. It might not work as good, but you're at least trying to cover your bases. You're trying to make your opponent think twice, hesitate on the throw. And if he does catch it, you at least have someone in the vicinity that can maybe make a tackle and not let him gain as many yards. So hard flats is something you definitely want to know. Another thing you want to know is shading your coverage. It works pretty good. So you can hit Y or triangle, and you can see on the right here, it says over top, outside, underneath, inside. So underneath is what we did before. That put the hard flats on the field. So let's say we wanted to put the cloud flats back. Let's say we came out in a hard flat cover 2. And we're like, well, we want to put the cloud flats back because it's 3rd and long. We're not worried about the flats. We could press Y or triangle and then up on the right stick. That puts the cloud flats back on the field. Let's say we think they're going to try to hit us to the sideline. We can press Y or triangle right on the right stick. That's going to play to the outside. They're going to play the outside, the sidelines better. So shading your coverage is a good thing to do. If you're afraid they're going to try to attack you on the sideline on a big down, shade them to the outside. If you think they're going to hit you to the flats on either side, shade them underneath. This is something that works really well against drag routes. I see year in and year out people complain, drags are OP. How do I stop drag routes? Play underneath coverage. I will show you right here. We'll go put 2 guys on a drag route. Going to play underneath coverage. We have both hard flats on the outside of the field. Yes, you will be a little vulnerable deep down the field, but you can't cover everything. You have to pick your poison. You have to try to confuse your opponent. So now we're running drag routes. I'm throwing the drag route, boom. He should have picked that for 6. He dropped it, but he was all over the flat route because I played him underneath. If you play underneath coverage, you will lock up drag routes. That's all you have to do. I see people complain every year that drags are OP and nothing defends them. Play underneath coverage, they're dead. So those are the adjustments that matter the most as far as coverage. Shading underneath, shading up, shading to the outside, shading your defense to cover the area of the field that you want. And manual adjustments, I would say, is just mainly putting hard flats on the field and putting spies on the field. If you have a fast quarterback, you want to have a spy, but you want to make sure it's a fast guy. So if you have a fast defensive end, A or X, you can see QB spy is left on the right stick. Put him in a spy. Now if the QB tries to scramble, you'll see what happens if he tries to scramble. This guy's going to follow. He's going to follow. And if you click the right stick, you can tell him to rush in. And he's going to rush. So that's something a lot of people don't know. If you press the right stick, if you click it in, the defender that's closest to the quarterback will rush the quarterback. So if you have a QB spy on the field and the quarterback starts rolling out, again, we'll do it one more time. So the QB is going to try to roll out. But a smart player is going to see, oh, there's a spy. He's following him, so I'm going to stay put. But now you can blitz him in because you know that he can't outrun you at that point. You blitz him in, he gets sacked. So that's another adjustment that you need to know how to make. Click the right stick in when you want to rush the quarterback. When he's outside the pocket, click that right stick in and force him to get rid of the ball quick. Force him to make a bad throw. And the only other thing I would say aside from that you need to know is just basic defensive line shifts. If you think they're going to run the ball up the middle, pinch the defensive line. LB or L1 and down on the left stick. You can see, you can pinch, you can spread, you can move them right. So we just pinched them there. We can move them to the right. We can move them to the left. I usually don't go right or left. I usually either spread them all the way out if I'm trying to get a little bit better of a pass rush, or I'll pinch them if I think there's going to be a run. And you can also crash them which again you would hit LB or L1, but now you're going to look at the right stick. You can slant them inside, which will make them all rush inside. You can slant them outside, which will make them rush outside. You can slant them to the right, which will make them run right. Slant them to the left, make them run left. So that, if you think they're going to run right, slant them to the right. If you think they're going to run up the middle, slant them down. Like I said, it's not necessarily going to stop it every time, but you're just trying to put your guys in the best position to succeed. And you always have audibles at your disposal too. You hit X or square depending on the system, and you'll see I can go to a cover 1. I can go to a cover 3. I can go to a blitz. Now, I usually don't audible to the blitz. I usually just audible to different coverage. Like if I've been coming out in cover 2 a lot, and I'm like, you know what, let me just switch it up to a cover 3. Let me do that because I don't think he's expecting it. And let me play underneath. So I'm going to have a cover 3 with hard flats on the field. So I have somebody to cover the post. I have 2 guys in the middle of the field, and I have the flats covered. So they're expecting a cover 2 maybe with cloud flats. I came out in a cover 3 with hard flats, and I'm all over the flat route. Those are little things you need to know. Just audibling in the different coverages, shading the defense, simple adjustments like the QB spy or the hard flat, pinching your defensive line. That's basically it. That is the basics of defense that you need to know. If you just know those few things, that's the groundwork there that will really help you get more stops on defense, because you won't just be coming out in a stock play and just hoping to stop your opponent. You'll know that, hey, I have the ability, no matter what play I come out in, I have the ability to make sure that flat's covered, or I have the ability to make sure that I have a spy on that QB if I need to, or I have the ability to cover the deep middle of the field if I see that the adjustment is needed. So if you start using those things, you get more comfortable with them, then over time you're going to start adding more adjustments in and learning how to move players around. Maybe you really want to make sure that flat is extra covered, right? So you play underneath coverage, but you slide the guy out a little bit because you want to make sure that he is in that flat waiting for him. Whereas if he's right here, he still has to run out a little bit. But if I slide him out manually, I know that, hey, he's going to be in that flat. He's already out there. So if he wants to try me, go ahead. Knowing that, hey, maybe let's say this guy was on a purple and you're afraid that he's going to get a route to the outside, to the deep outside, like a corner route. You might want to slide him out a little bit and say, hey, I'm going to make sure he's already in the vicinity. He doesn't even have to run to get there. Those are the little things you're going to learn more and more as you play. Moving players around, knowing, getting used to your opponent's tendencies, and little things like that. So those are the main adjustments you need to know. Everything else is kind of just more advanced and extra, and you learn as you go. But as long as you have this groundwork laid, you're going to find it a lot easier to stop these people that you maybe have had trouble stopping in the past. Okay, so the last thing I want to go over is coaching adjustments that we can now set this year. So I want to walk through what I think are the best coaching adjustments. So first, auto flip defensive play call. I would personally always leave this off. I think it's better to keep this off. If you keep it on, the CPU will always flip the defense to the best match of the offensive formation. I like to keep it off because I usually base align my defense anyway, and I want to know that if I'm coming out in a defense, I want it to look exactly what it's looking like when I come out in it. I want it to be lined up exactly how it looks on the play call screen. Let me call it timeout here because the play clock is running low there. So let's look at the ball in the air defense. Personally, I would either have the CPU play the ball or swat the ball. With play ball, you're going to get more interceptions, but you might have more chance of them missing the ball completely. Swatting the ball is probably the safest because they will always swat the ball, but you won't ever get picks from the CPU. So those are the two I would play for that. Cornerbacks matchups, I would always go by either overall or speed. At this stage of the game, I kind of like to go by speed because I want to, keep my fast cornerbacks and my fast wide receivers. But going overall will always work too. I would never leave it balanced though. Option defense, I would always leave that balanced. Pass rush, I would always go aggressive because you don't really see too many offsides penalties, so I would leave that aggressive. Strip ball, I would leave balanced. And tackling, I would also leave balanced. I just feel that is the best way to go about it. So those are the coaching adjustments that I think you should use. Play around with them, though, and see what works for you. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, just drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.